destroyed. Blue team has slain the dragon. Team's turret has been destroyed.
Disconnected.
A summoner has disconnected. A summoner has reconnected. A summoner has disconnected. A summoner has reconnected. A summoner has reconnected. team's turret has been destroyed.
Alright, and we are going to be casting games number 2 and 3 for tonight. Again, deep apologies for having game 1 without casting. That was due to some issues trying to get a second caster. However, we actually have one of the players from the UMD. Are they still called...
The Chicken Chasers.
Yeah, the Chicken Chasers, okay. I know the other UMD team has been changing their name a lot, but with us today is going to be Zayax, the jungler from the Chicken Chasers, as the play-by-play caster, as a bit of a guest caster to get some insight into how the UMD team likes to try and play, as well as be able to give more of a player perspective for these next 2 games.
Yeah, so UMD looking to keep the high seed Winona looking to make that final playoff spot. They're right below CSS Pupper Dogs right now with the same record, but CSS has the tiebreak. So let's see what Winona can do. See if they can take a win off the Ram Ranch here.
Yeah, and I mean, in this case, you could have it where the Ram Ranch doesn't really try too hard to go, say, in pick ban phase, and may go hard when the game actually starts up. But with pick bans, it could be a little more relaxed, do some experimental picks, see what they can make work. But I'm not too sure if they really want to go for that, or if they want to try and go for the highest seed possible, which in this case, the highest seed possible would be overtaking St. Olaf and getting that third place spot.
Yep, and we're going to pick a ban. So you see the echo coming out from UMD. That's obviously targeted at Funky B, one of the premier echo players. He's snapped off the first week, and I'm pretty sure it's been banned most of his games he's played in MNLCS.
Most of them, not every single one, though. He had it where, I believe in week 5, Echo was not picked or banned, and instead he actually opted into playing Rise. I don't remember if that was exactly week 5. I know it was somewhere around the middle of our league. But yes, Echo is one of the premier champions for him. Other than that, we can see both Hecarim and Ari also being banned out.
Yep. Nerf Akali, please. Played really well last week on that Ari. So, trying to get Funky B an easier matchup and see if he can carry this game.
Yeah, also, the two premier mid laners have been banned out for this game, that being Akali, or not Akali, sorry, Ari and Orianna, with another mid lane ban against Syndra, so I'm not too sure exactly what's going to be picked up aside from this. Do you really know what mid lane matchups are? I know you're a jungler, but...
Yeah, I mean, I think Nerf Akali, please, might go to a pocket pick. Funky B, I know, has a really deep champ pool. Might whip out the Rise. Maybe even the gang. We might see the Gangplank mid lane.
Yeah.
He plays a lot of control
I wouldn't be
mages.
surprised if we actually see Gangplank top lane, though, because Oakenball has been playing a lot of the Gangplank within the last few weeks. We do have to mention, though, that because Lulu made it through the ban phase, it was actually able to get picked up.
The instant first pick from UMD. Classic
crazy
Catbug
crazy
EXO champion. Gonna try to keep
she's also a
Kakarino
crazy support
alive.
overall right now.
Oh, she's really good. And Lulu and Kakarino's play style of the hard carry AD carry player. So let's see what
Other than that,
Ripple and Nerf Akali, please. Let's see if they'll take a top liner. They don't.
Yeah, we did have the Nautilus and the Jhin pick come through for Winona, so that's going to be a Jhin AD carry, most likely a Nautilus in the top lane, like we saw in the last game. If they go for a top lane reversing it, they could go for something like the Renekton we saw. However, I feel like since there's already the Jhin, you'd want something that is a little bit beefier, or could maybe dive heavier than the Renekton could, just make it so you could get to that backline a little bit easier. Instead, it looks like they want to lock in a Rengar and a Varus for that jungle and AD carry lock-in.
Yeah, I like the Rengar pick. I mean, people still have underrated Rengar. He's a really good champion still, especially in the jungle.
Yeah, also, I mean, I'm sure you've played Rengar every now and then. I'm not sure if he's really too open due to his extremely high ban rate, especially in solo queue, but Rengar works incredibly well with the Lulu because while he's invisible, you can speed him up, and when he jumps in the middle of the team, you can ult him to get a massive 5-man knockup. And
yeah, personally, I'm not a very good Rengar player, but I've seen Cripple whip out the Rengar in some games, and
all right,
you should be fairly confident in the champion. And then the Varus, Lulu, we're obviously not going to see the attack speed Varus. We're going to see the attack speed Varus, not the lethality. I think it's just subjectively better right now, especially with Lulu on your team. And then
you have
Graves coming in.
Especially because you can have the massive synergy with those crits, and also most Lulus like to build Ardent Sensor, which applies on-hit effects to your basic attacks, so having a more attack speed heavy build will allow you to get those off more often. Meanwhile, as you mentioned, Graves is locked in. That 100% pick ban champion for the last few weeks with all teams is showing up yet again. I'm surprised he actually made it through this late into the pick ban phase, just because usually he's either banned or picked first.
Yeah, I mean, Graves is still super strong right now, especially into the Rengar. He can keep up with the clear speed and then gank just as well.
Yeah,
I like the Thresh pickup here.
I guess to get a bit of an idea for our viewers out there, what exactly about Graves? Oh, wait.
Oh, nope. Let's see if Smoking rips out the Rengar in the top lane.
Yeah, if this is going to be an Ivern lock-in, that's most likely a Rengar top lane. Yeah,
it is the Rengar in the top lane. Snowcane, that is his pocket pick. He's got this, I believe. I think Snowcane used to be a premier, like he used to be a really, really, really good Rengar player before the rework. He played him in the top lane.
But that does mean it's going to be Ivern versus Graves, which traditionally I believe Graves can easily beat Ivern just because Graves has such a powerful counter jungling pattern that Ivern is pretty susceptible to.
We do see the Ivern get through.
Yeah,
I do like the Ivern pick because they have so many shields. It's gonna be really annoying. And then we're gonna see maybe the Azir or the Rise for Funky B and see if he can scale with it. I'm not sure. The Olaf in the mid? They're just.
I'm not really sure what they're going to be going for. There is known to be a Victor in the mid lane. They could pick something else. I could see Funky B going with another control mage. Maybe we see something like a Nivea. Maybe. I'm not too sure what else could be picked out here. Oh, Talia. That actually also works. A control mage, as mentioned. However, Talia will be able to roam around and try and affect all the other lanes of the map just as equally with Graves as would, say, Rengar with his ultimates or a roaming Lulu. So I really like that pick. While we are going through this loadout, though, I want to get your opinion on how this Ivern Graves matchup will go down. I mentioned before how, from what I know, typically a Graves should win because he can counter jungle Ivern really hard. But obviously you would know better. You are a jungler. I'm a support main, so I don't really know nearly as much. I just go by what I see. How do you think that
Cripple's got this matchup? I think Cripple's going to win this matchup into the Graves. I just personally think Ivern is one of the most annoying champions in this game. And especially like if he can hit his stun, along with the Rengar in the top lane. I like the Rengar flex pick here.
Yeah, I mean, I
don't think many people think Snowcane plays the Rengar. I forgot about it.
Well, there's also that
There's
also that synergy where you can just have Ivern lay down the brushes in the middle of a lane, and that basically gives Rengar free jumps wherever he wants. But
that was huge.
Yeah. But you mentioned you think Cripple has this matchup, and you said it's somewhat because Ivern is really annoying. What exactly about Ivern? Is it that makes him so annoying, or was it about Cripple that makes him so good of an Ivern player that you think he'll be able to handle the Graves?
Cripple's Ivern is actually really good, and it's really like he's very good at the champion. He's like him and like under 50% are like probably the best Ivern players I've seen. So
okay, but really what exactly about their style makes it that they're so good with the champion? Is it that they go for far more counter jungle style? Are they really good at timing how well they can use their smites with rotating the camps? Is it the way that they go for either early or later ganks? Trying to look for like an exact why in this case.
I know Cripple is really good at pathing. Like he's got this down. Like
okay,
your team would always critique me on my jungle pathing, but I mean.
Okay, so he'll be able to path in a way that avoids the Graves, so being able to successfully counter jungle him, or he could path in a way where he can actually counter jungle the Graves instead.
I think Cripple's gonna set up for more of the counter ganks on the Graves. I think as long, like they have enough CC on their team and like damage with the Victor, Varus, and Rengar that if he counter ganks, they should win the 2v2 or the 2v3 in the bot lane.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The only thing I'm really worried about though is the side of Winona has far more crowd control compared to Ram Ranch, and I'm not too sure exactly how well it's going to play out in the long term. In early and late game stages, I imagine Ram Ranch could easily win this simply due to the amount of tankiness that they'll have through those heals and shields, as you mentioned, because I'm imagining they're going to be having double Locket, double Redemption. They'll be having the Athenians and Holy Grail on Ivern, and he's going to have two sources of shields, the Polymorph, the wild growth. There's so much to protect these carries. Meanwhile, you could have Snowcane just split pushing all game on that Rengar, or even looking for the picks if he goes full damage. So I could easily see them winning deep late game. It's just more of the mid game that I'm worried about.
I really do not see like if Kukurino, Nerfakali Please, and Catbug Exo and Cripple are just on a tower, I don't see them ever being able to get it. They have so much wave clear and so much damage, and even with the Ivern bushes, they just can't see them.
Yeah, but you also have to remember that there's also a lot of wave clear from the side of Winona. They have Graves, Talia, Jhin, and Nautilus, who all have a decent amount of AoE wave clear. Granted, most of them can be body blocked. The only two that really can't is going to be the Graves and the Nautilus, but they need to get close in order to get that wave cleared down, which will put them at a bit of threats. I think the only real threat that's going to be coming through, though, is going to be with the Corrupted Chains from Varus. Or, wait, is it Corrupted Chains? I'm trying to remember the ability name.
Chains of Corruption.
Alright, I basically had it. The reverse the words and put an of in between. Yeah. Corrupting Chains,
Chains of Corruption. They're going to keep the Rengar in the side lane and just wait for the flanks, because they're going to have to send Graves or somebody, or like even Talia over to stop him, because I don't think Nautilus will win that 1v1 once Rengar gets items. Oh,
especially if he goes for an early Black Cleaver, then that'll be big time in the Rengar's favor. Especially if he goes for more kind of like a old school Fiora build with a Black Cleaver and a Ravenous Hydra. That way he'll have both sustain and the penetration damage. But I could also see them saying Talia over, as you mentioned, because Talia could simply stall out Rengar's push and then match up for team fights using the ultimate.
It's going to be true. Let's see if what Winona's strategy is here, because I feel like I got a good idea what UMD is trying to do. They're trying to 4-1 with the Rengar, and then just have the Rengar flank.
I would hope you have a good idea what UMD does. You kind of used to play for them.
So, yeah.
Yeah. But in this case, the game has started up. We are seeing people loading in, getting their starting items. Nothing too unusual right now. We can actually see that Kakarina is going back with that 7.5 patch Longsword 3 potion style on Kakarino, so you could potentially be going for a very early Essence Reaver, or Yomu's Ghostblade if he wants to go for the Lethality. But we mentioned before that right now a much better option to synergize with the Lulu would be the crits.
And I think the Blade of the Ruin King, honestly, I think Blade of the Ruin King is a really strong item here. I think we might see a clash here in the river.
I'm not expecting
both
that.
Walking around each other.
Yeah, I'm not expecting a Blade of the Ruin King just because with a Varus, yes, you could auto-attack a lot, but if you're going for the auto-attacks, it's much better to have something like Essence Reaver so you can still weave in the spells in between. Because it's much better to do 3 autos with the crits, then throw a spell, and you can just constantly have the mana refund while you're doing that. So if you don't have the Essence Reaver early on, you'll probably be a little starved. Oh.
Yeah, I don't like this start by Winona. I think they, like, obviously Ivern's going to want to invade because he can just Smite Steal that first buff away. Which, oh, here comes the hook on the Catbug XO. Gripple getting really low. Oh, are they going to get first blood right here on Akabal? The heal comes out, the Ignite, flash from Peter, flash from Akabal. Snow King got into the bush, he's going to get Peter.
Still
he's
going.
First blood. He can hit it. Monkey Bee misses. Thresh escapes with very low HP. Thresh has 29 HP walking away in the jungle. Nerfakali and Kakarana both flashed over to the blue buff.
Yeah, and I mean, the laning phase has already started. The minions are in the waves. What are they still doing? Chasing? Yeah, they're going to be delaying the back of Funky B, but...
This is better for Graves. Graves is coming back here.
Yeah,
he doesn't need any leash to clear.
This is going to be a very late start for both junglers, so to where they won't be able to gank nearly as early as they could have. And even, you can see that Snow King is going to be having it where he'll have no sums. Yeah, well, TP and Flash are down.
Ooh, Fear Factor stay to actually leash the blue buff, but if Peter could do this right, he could actually take no damage.
Ooh. Yeah, also that's going to mean that Fear Fracture... Yeah, no, Fear Fracture is already going to be missing quite a few minions. He missed roughly half a wave, which means that he'll be taking the full 2 waves in order to actually reach level 2. No, more than just the full 2 waves, actually. He's going to need a 3rd wave in order to reach level 2. Unless if Get Sleep sacrifices his own level 2.
The hook lands on Catbug. Let's see if they can make anything happen. Doesn't.
There are no sums. I doubt anything's going to happen.
Sums. I think Kakarano might be... Yeah, Fear Fracture, yep. Get Sleep.
Yeah, no. Alright, that was...
Yeah, I think...
It was way too aggressive right there. When the hook landed, he got the auto and the Dancing Grenade in, but he should have backed off right after because you don't have heal, you don't have the exhaust on your side. Meanwhile, Kakarino never burned heal whenever that invade was happening, so it was just unnecessary risk. What were you saying?
Oh, we see a pretty big CS lead. In the top lane, Snowcane's been abusing Akabal with this Rengar.
Not only that, you can already see a big CS lead over in the bot lane. Look at that, 12 CS difference.
With the first blood. Oh, can they get sleeped here?
Oh, very low.
Oh,
the 4 shot!
No, down, yeah.
Alright, but that's also going to be Akabal going down in the top lane. Right now, junglers have not shown any presence in the lanes right now, and there's already been 3 kills once this lane phase actually started up. So that's going to make it so that already the Ram Ranch is going to be 1.4k gold ahead. Most of that gold is going to be centered right around Kokorino.
Oh, we got some action in the jungle here. Oh, he misses the root. Let's see if Peter can make anything happen. Oh, he just backs off. We do see early Vamp Scepter. Oh, here comes the collapse onto Peter. He's going to either have... Doesn't have flash. He's just going down.
Alright, and with that, that's going to be meaning another kill for UMD Ram Ranch. I'm not really sure how Winnell's going to be coming back through this. As we mentioned, Ram Ranch has a very strong early composition because they have great early damage as well as good early utility. And simply put, Winona is not respecting that.
Nerf Akali, please, also just got the double buffs off Graves, so base just allows him to hit that power spike. And he got the kill.
Yeah, it's going to be adding a lot more wave clip potential to Nerf Akali, please, making it so he can simply stay in lane for a very long time here. And honestly, he can just shove in this wave all he wants without worrying about running out of mana, force Funky B to have to use mana instead to keep the wave off of his own tower. And that's just going to make it so that he will have a full lane advantage as long as Peter stays away and he keeps himself well warded.
Yep, Cripple just took the Krugs in the top side jungle that Graves didn't get to clear. And he's going to come gank the top lane. They don't have any wards. See if they can get this.
Yeah, he is quite low. They have the brush for Rengar. There it is. Okay.
Empowered.
So that's going to be another kill going over.
Oh, here comes the gank in the bot lane.
Yeah, it's going to be Peter coming down. The hook lands.
Oh, he landed the Jhin. The Jhin snare. Here comes Peter. Can they get the double? Oh, Peter goes down.
But there's a trade.
2. Can Kappa
yeah,
get
the
out?
fourth shot should be coming in and finishing this off here as long as he can reach.
Yep.
And he can. Fear Fractured and Good Sleeps get very low off of that, though. They will have to back off after clearing this wave unless they want to take the risk of Cripple potentially going down there. But that's only if they overstay. They have enough time to clear this full wave and then back. So that was a great catch-up there by Fear Fracture. Gained 2 kills for himself. The big issue still is, though, is that he is behind on gold. And not only by 100, though. Not nearly as much as it was before. And I want to know exactly how he's going to try and work around this. One thing we can.
Yeah, Varus is going for that Blade of the Rune King. He's got the Cutlass already. He's gonna. They didn't shove this wave hard enough, so he's gonna get all this XP and CS. He should be able to hit all these.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious what he's planning to go for build outside of that. Maybe he'll go for the kind of traditional AD carry build we see nowadays, being Blade of the Rune King, Rune's Hurricane, and then the Black Cleaver. But I still don't think that'd be the greatest build, just because you'd be so mana starved as a Varus.
Nerf Akali, please. Keep him Funky B in this mid lane right now.
Yeah, he's only just run out of that blue buff, so he still has plenty of mana to go. It looks like he wants to back and potentially give himself some items. Most likely going to be getting that first upgrade. Oh, never mind. Cancels back.
Okay, so one of the issues here for Snowcane's up 15 CS and 3 kills. So he should be able to just like endlessly push this in and get this tower. Because I don't think Nautilus can stop Rengar.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure the moment that Peter hits level 6, he should be able to at least pressure this top lane with enough damage to where even if Falcon Ball hits level 6 as well, he could easily use a depth charge and go for a full gank. However, speaking of ganks, there is one in the bot lane right now.
Gets sleep dangerously though. Kakarino gets hooked. Let's see if Fear Fraction can finish him off. Nope, the Polymorph comes out of Catbug XO.
Yeah, he's going to back off right after that.
Full health.
And there's still Catbug and Cripple nearby to offer shields to Kakarino, so you have to remember that even if you got the 4th shot ready, there's most likely going to be actual protection for him, and that's where having the double support team composition just makes it so hard to kill off the carries early on, and you can see that Cripple is still staying in this bot lane, wanting potential more.
Cripple should know that Graves is down here because blue buff came up, and if you're pathing correctly, you should be able to get to your blue buff right as it comes up. So you'd assume Graves is bot side because you haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, for all we know, it could be that Cripple is going to be backing and coming straight up towards that top lane. He has
the
Might
TP
ready.
Down from Rengar.
Oh.
They're going to collapse on this. They see Talia, and they see...
They do see Graves. They do
here
see
comes
him.
Snowcane.
They saw Graves because there was a ward right next to his Grump as he was taking it, so they know he's down there. Alright. One thing I like to see from Cripple right now is going to be...
from Funky B. I think he was... I don't think he needed to burn the ghost there. I think he was okay.
It may have just been a safety precaution in case of...
I think Graves and Talia could have held off the Rengar even if he would have jumped even with Victor there. Because he still had flash up. I mean, Better be safe than sorry, I guess. Especially when you're down. 1.5k gold, and most of it's focused onto the Rengar. Rengar is going for that Black Cleaver first. Planning an immediate response for Funky B going down. You see him? Let's see if we can get the Weaver's wall behind him. I don't think UMD is going to push up here. I think they know that Nerf Akali, please call them Mia. And they know Funky B's gone, so they're not going to push. And they haven't seen Graves. Oh. Winona rotating to the Ocean Drake. This is actually really good for them in these sustained poke fights, especially when if they're trying to siege. Funky B going dangerously low. Nerf Akali, please. Chunks him down to a quarter HP. Got some action in the top lane. Nothing too crazy. Winona does get that dragon in response. I think the Ocean Drake is actually really good for their team comp because they're going to have to set up these sieges against the Victor and the Varus, and it's basically just negate most of the poke. Well, the exhaust comes out on the Kakarino. Ivern's coming down here. Can he get there in time? Will Get Sleep go down? The heal comes out for Kakarino, but they cannot get him. Here comes the Jhin ultimate.
Yeah, I see the tinfoil. Making meals for the weaker. Oh, yeah. That's good.
A little more action up here in the top lane. They're both pretty low. You see Graves going to his red buff. They see Rengar recalling. Talia's coming up. Let's see if they get... Are they going to use the Weaver's Wall? Yep. Akambal might go down. He does, but Talia comes and boxes him out. Ooh, the... Snow King, can he get out? If he can get to the Blast Cone, they have Ivern and Victor coming up. Oh, and he got out. 1 for 1, burned the Talia ultimate. Really good outplay by Snow King right there. Talia rotating back to the mid lane. The bonus of Ivern. Giving red buff to Kakarino. See if they can push his bot tower down.
I wonder if I've been muted. I just realized I was muted.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently. But one thing that I really want to see coming right now is going to be the attempt to kind of have Funky B keep the ultimate up and save it for more guaranteed kills. They just saw that Snowkin is able to easily live with the Black Cleaver. Now that'll make surviving those types of flanks and ganks even easier. Funky B should honestly be putting a lot more resources into this bot lane, try and make it so that at least Fear Fracture can get a decent lead over Kakarino before Kakarino gets too big. Because with that Lulu and Varus combination, it's basically a ticking time bomb to where it's going to be doing insane amounts of damage.
Get Sleep's going down. Oh, Flash is out, but the Ignite is on. Will it get him?
Yes,
Peter.
It does. Oh, I don't think he's going to be able to get out yet. There.
Yep, that's
all right.
Nice
That's
counter
gonna
gank by Cripple. A nice way to just burn down the tank before Peter. Peter was slow to respond to that. He should have.
Ooh.
As soon as that hook missed, they either needed to go in or just abort the gank.
Yeah, and part of that whole idea
he just
was
takes so much damage.
Yeah, and as you mentioned earlier, good Pantheon jungler means that
when
when
get chunked down here.
Jeez.
Oh, nerf Akali, please. Cripple did flash, but they're gonna get a lot of pressure on this mid tower and bot tower. These towers might be going down. They're definitely gonna get first tower bot lane. Catbug XO backing up, gonna just recall. Kakarino got the first tower gold, solo first tower gold. There's a lot of gold in his pocket. Let's see what he can get with it.
Yeah, and as you were saying earlier, how with good jungle pathing means that you're going to be going near your buff right as they're spawning. Cripple knew that, so he knew that Peter was going to be down on the bot side as the blue buff was spawning, getting ready for that counter gank because he saw both sides of the bot lane getting ready to go aggressive. And he was there perfectly for the counter gank, got the triple kill, got the blue buff for himself as well as the guy, please.
Coming in. I don't... Oh, Cripple hits the stun. Can they kill Peter?
Ooh, he is really low. However, Funky B is able to zone him off.
Ollie, please, barely getting out.
Yeah,
Graves Graves isn't even gonna go look for him.
No, that's a very bad idea right now, just because Nerfakali Please has enough damage in his kit to make so that he could simply burst Peter down if he gets him from a brush. So unless if you get a very lucky collateral damage, it's essentially guaranteed that Peter would be the one to die instead.
What we've seen so far is basically a lack of counter vision from Winona here. Peter was up. You saw Cripple recall. You could have went and placed a ward. Because he's got 2 up right now in his inventory. He could have put 1 on the blue because he knew that was spawning. At least. And very few pink wards coming out.
Yeah, there have been basically no pink wards from both sides, except for when they went for this dragon. Back when it was there, we have 50 seconds till the next dragon is going to be up. It is going to be a mountain dragon.
It sleeped. It's coming low. Here comes the teleport in from Rengar. It sleeped dangerously low. Catbug XO going down. Support for support right now. But the TP, the double TP. Okay, here comes the ult from Nautilus. Cripple dangerously low. He might be going down. He's down. Rengar standing in the... Pick up the Akambal. Oh, here it goes. Yep. Here comes Nerfakali, please, and Kakarino cleaning it up. Allowing Rengar to get out. And there's... They might want to rotate for this dragon here. So much pressure, especially with the Varus and in the split push. Oh, and Varus snipes Funky B. Rhino to get up to 5 kills now. He's gonna be able to probably almost back and finish his Hurricane. He's gonna be a very strong Varus coming up. They're gonna be able to just take towers at will. They're gonna probably rotate, get this dragon.
Yeah, right now you can see the Blade of the Rune King completed. You can see the Blade of the Rune King completed on him, and he already has a Recurvo, so it's most likely going to be the Rune's Hurricane, as mentioned before, going to be completed next. They're already going for this Mountain Dragon, and we've said it before, how this team already has very powerful tower taking. They have the Varus, they have Victor, who's mostly going to be getting a Lich Bane later on, as well as Rengar is going to be staying in these side lanes. So this is going to help them with their main team objective.
Let's see if they send the bot lane of UMD up in the top lane just to get that free outer tower. Looks like Kakarino is running down to maybe stop the push to keep that bot tower.
I kind of like the whole idea of keeping Snowkin up there for now, just because he can keep Akambal well behind due to his immense amount of damage already coming in from this Black Cleaver. So I do like the plan as of right now. However, I agree with you. Eventually, they should send Kakarino and Kappa XO up towards this top lane so that they can take it.
Kakarino really just wanted the red buff, let's be honest.
Yeah, possibly.
1v2 in the bot lane. Varus should be able to hold this. They don't have Threshold.
He also has...
He's got plenty of poke and plenty of range.
He also has heal up right
Hurricane.
now. Ooh. Pretty low, though, from that poke.
A lot of damage. Let's see what he does here. Takes... Fourth, the auto attack. The Blade of the Ruin King.
Oh.
Fracture tank in the tower. Let's see if Kappa XO can maybe scrounge up a kill here.
No, right now Kappa XO is always...
Please coming down. They should have the free double kill right here. Yep.
Kappa XO has way too little damage as of right now to really get the kill by himself. So instead, I do like that they had Nerfakali Please rotate down with.
Funky B are in trouble. Funky B is really far up.
Ooh, he's going to be getting pincered from Kappa XO and Nerfakali Please.
Snowcane is just disregarding any damage Funky B has with all these shields.
Yeah, as well as the extra healing that will come in. Oh, we can actually see a DC Rhino from the Rhino, yeah.
Oh, and he's back.
Already? Yeah, he is. Okay, this is a very mini disconnect. Alright. Oh, looks like...
almost steals the blue buff.
Almost, but looks like Peter will easily be able to get away. There's nothing really threatening right there, and with the dagger from Rhino, that's kind of...
someone out of your jungle by the support. Oh, Cripple gets hooked. Oh. Peter, let's see if he has enough damage. Flash from Cripple. The redemption coming down the shield. This is what I mean. Ivern is just almost unkillable. It's just, especially with the Lulu and the redemption.
Yeah, and real soon we're going to be seeing him with that Athene's Unholy Grail completed as well, giving him just a little bit more of magic resist. But the big thing about the item is more the insane amount of health regen bonus that it gives to you. Because for those who don't know, Athena's Unholy Grail gives you health regen equal to the amount of total bonus mana regen that you have. Which, with the high support build that Ivern is going to have, is going to be roughly 300% bonus health regen.
Snowcane's going to get this Rift Herald and just be a monster in a side lane. I don't think anybody on Winona can 1v1 him anymore.
I want Snowcane to go bot lane now. Force Akambal to join him, or Funky B, or Peter, someone to join him in the bot lane, so that they can start setting up for this Baron.
Down there to get him.
Yeah, exactly. And this Baron is going to be up in roughly 45 seconds. They have the Ivern, Lulu, and the Varus, who could all take it down pretty easily. So that's why I would like to see them try and kind of bait something down towards the spot lane early on.
Fracture's dead here.
There's no way.
Flash. Snowcane, the heal and the flash come out from Fear Fracture.
As well as the Yomu's Ghost Blade.
Get Sleep getting caught. Flash is away from Nerf Akali, please. Funky B is sitting up by Wolves. Cucurano just clearing out vision. That was a really good rotation by UMD. They saw Fear Fracture just solo pushing down and burned his flash, his heal, and then Thresh flash. Or Rengar ult.
Yeah, so it's one ultimate for overall 2 flashes and a heal. But in the end, they're not really getting any big objectives from it. They need to push for something soon. They have the minion wave here. They're going to be trying to go for this tower, but they're not really committing to it just yet.
I don't know if you want to keep all 4 of them in the side lane. I think Rengar is strong enough to draw at least 2 of them, and if you throw your bot lane in the top lane, you can just push tower, and then go to Baron.
Especially because he has the Rift Herald, that's giving him 0 benefit when he's grouped. The current call is going to be end up missing.
Sleep going down here. The exhaust goes on to Nerf Akali, please. Let's see what they can do. Funky B is just sitting off to the side.
The exhaust is way too late, honestly. They should have just saved it up for next time it's up.
Here comes the Weaver's Wall right behind him. Traps him in, but the Redemption comes down. Nerf Akali, please. That's Tower going. Just run out of mana, but the Weaver's Wall is going to come down in time for them to get out. Daisy's just tanking the tower. Funky B on the side. Let's see if he can get anything here. Rengar coming out, probably going for Funky B. Yup. The exhaust, the ghost, and the flash coming out from Funky B. Winona just losing a lot of summoner spells for this tower right now. And the tower's still going to go down.
They also got 2 kills, don't forget, and eventually...
Hit by the Ivern.
Yeah, but Ivern should be going down here as well. Never mind.
Nope. Get Sleep's going to be going down.
Yeah,
Peter can be next.
Purple was actually able to get out.
Nears up Cucurano, but not enough to do anything. This Varus is just a monster right now. And this Victor, 9-0-4 in the mid lane. Rengar 6-0-4 in the top lane. No one might need a miracle to get back into this game. Oh, they're...
I doubt the move's going up anytime soon with Peter overextending like this.
Pops the Ghost Blade and immediately aborts.
Yeah, that is...
Cucurano and Cripple just sitting there.
Far too overextended right there by Peter.
Should be able to get this tower because I don't think Akambal can get up there in time.
No, he really won't be able to, but we do see a pause with our disconnection from Cucurano. So he had disconnected a little bit earlier, but now not anymore.
His game has apparently crashed.
Yeah, and while we're waiting for that, let's just do a quick little overview on the ways Winona could potentially come back here. I think the best bet they have is to kind of give up this duelist build that they have on Peter, as well as the kind of damage-oriented build that they have on Funky B. They could go for more something with utility, such as the Riley's Crystal Scepter. And with Peter, they should go with something more bruiser-oriented that could kind of complement Fear Fracture. They should go for, instead of Black Cleaver or something that is beefier, rather than the current Death Stance that we can see being built on him, which, honestly, I don't know what use that's going to be. If you're dying so fast, it doesn't matter what you build at this point.
Yeah, and also the part I don't like about Graves is, like, when you fall behind this far, it just feels really bad. Like, yeah, if you can get ahead, you can just kick everybody's teeth in, but if you're behind like this, and the other team's got a Varus and just Victor, I don't even know what you're supposed to do. Like, he can try... If Rengar wouldn't have got so far ahead, they probably could have just put him in a side lane and just let him go. But... yeah, and no chance of 1v1ing this Rengar anymore.
Not even just a 1v1 right now, it's a 1v2 with Akambal trying to flash out and surviving out of the tower, but he still goes down.
You see Nerf Akali here. Please go in here for this Lich Bane. He's got the Sheen. Once he finishes that, he's just He's a monster right now, but I don't see a way they can get back in this game. Like, unless they can get like a miracle Baron steal.
Maybe a Baron
Let's see
steal?
Nerf Collie please overextends here. Snowcane. He's just diving funky. Peter. Oh, Nerf a Collie, please. Gonna clean up. Can he get the triple? Oh my. This is just going south so fast.
Alright, they can easily get this top tower and push. They can get a second tier tower as well. Meanwhile, Rhino was just in that mid lane pushing down mid this entire time. So that's going to be 2 towers and 4 kills. Going
really
over to...
spread out 4v3 fight that they lost. They might just push for base.
I also just realized that Rhino solo killed Get Sleeped right there. I didn't realize that.
Oh. There you go.
So, yeah, that's...
Thresh versus Fed Varus. Not much hope for the Thresh. Thresh probably shouldn't have been there. He probably should have been up with his team. They would have just seeded the mid tower, I guess, but maybe you could have won the fight top lane. Akhenball goes down. Thresh misses the hook. Let's see. They're going to get the inhib here. Snowcane roaming down back mid. He's got ult up here in a few seconds.
Not really going to get much with that current call right there, so they're just going to be able to take a second inhibitor right here. Not sure if they're going to be going for a final fight to try and close out this game. It looks like they'll be forced into it.
Cripple goes down. Gets the top tower. Can Rhino? Oh, Funky B pops him right in the teeth.
Ooh, but meanwhile, Nerf
Collie, please. Just walking over. Huge 15, 0 and 6 right now. Just snapping off on this Victor. They're going to get this tower, and they're going to get triple inhib off this.
Yeah, honestly, I still don't know why they're having Snowcane group so heavily when he does have that Rip Shield and so much solo power right now. It would be so much better just to have him taking down the top side by himself, because in all honesty, Nerf Please already has the damage he needs. He doesn't really need much help.
Yeah, they have almost a 20k gold lead at this point. I don't know if there's something they could do wrong besides like maybe Fountain Dive or just hand him a Baron.
It's still just unnecessary time wasting. Like, yes, they're winning. Yes, they are most likely going to win at this point. But as a team, you should still be looking to try and have the cleanest victory possible.
I think Snowcane probably could have just sat top lane and got that inhib.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to say. Like, they're still going to win.
Back off in Baron.
Exactly. And they have plenty of vision control right around Baron as of now, so I don't really see them losing Baron, because they'll be able to easily spot out anyone. Actually, not anymore, because one of those wards just cleared out. The crucial ward that's right around where the red buff camp is. However, we can see that Snowcane is going to be right over here, and they're going to be just using the Iron Brush to hide Baron completely, so it won't even be able to get seen if they want to try and contest. Looks like, however, Winona is just going to give this up and recognize that they cannot take it.
It's so hard to Baron steal against an Ivern because he just drops the bush. So you can't even tell unless you got the perfectly timed blue trinket. And here comes the teleport from Snowcane with the ult. Fear Fracture probably going down here.
Ooh, he gets the flash off.
They're sending 3 down here. There's 4 in the mid lane. Snowcane is borderline unkillable at this point.
He was also juking incredibly heavy against Funky B, just going completely away from that attempt to catch him out. Meanwhile, his team is just taking the base.
Akhenball goes down to Nerf a Collie, please. Peter might die here to... Yep, Nerf a Collie, please. Just picking up kills. 18, 0 and 6 right now. Let's see if they can... They're just trying to pad the KDs at this point. Oh my. Look, 20, 0 and 6. In the mid lane, Nerf a Collie, please.
I think we both know who's going to be the MVP for this game. That's definitely Nerf a Collie, please, having that amazing showing on Victor. A 26 KDA and roughly a 70 to 80% kill participation. I don't know the exact number. I just know it's between those two. It is insane.
Great showing from everybody on UMD here. The bot lane won, mid stomped. Cripple with really good jungle pathing, timing these counter ganks, like I said, on the Graves.
Yeah, the only way that really...
We won at the top lane.
Granted, as we mentioned before, while yes, very much did win, it would have been much better to see them win in a cleaner fashion than they did, because there were many small mistakes. For instance, they spent the time to take the Rift Herald, give it 2 over Snowcane, but then they never actually utilize it to its full extent, where they simply let Snowcane stay grouped up and never capitalized on what could have been.
Yeah, that's just some small things. But I mean, when you're up 20k gold,
We need something
gotta-
to talk about.
something to shore up, especially going
Yeah.
into playoffs. Just getting everything nice and clean. So when you face some of the other teams like either Mankato or Gang by Gophers,
Oh yeah, no, those two teams right now, top 2 of the standings. It's going to be amazing to see them finally when they have to face off against one another, because it's going to put one of them out of that perfect standings. But until then, we still have Winona to talk about, and the biggest issue that we mentioned early on for them was a lack of warding and a lack of jungle control for themselves.
oh yeah. So basically, they had 0 counter vision. I think they placed 1 ward into the other team's jungle, and if you have 2 trinket wards up, there's no reason. And you saw their jungler recall. The game gives you the timer. It'll show their buff is yellow. It'll give you this up in the next 20 seconds, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Why not just go take 5 seconds out of your day, drop a ward, you can see where their jungler is, and then maybe recall and then set up a dive bot lane or something.
Yeah, not only
The
that,
game was
they're also
still in reach at that point.
Not only that, they're also failing to anticipate things such as counter ganks. Like you mentioned before, one of the biggest things that is clear to a jungler knowing where the enemy is going to be is based on his buff timers. You just mentioned when it's yellow, it's roughly 20 seconds left. And that signals that they'll be on that side of the map, and you could easily stay near there, be ready for a counter gank. Exactly what we saw. I just forgot his name.
Cripple.
The guy that played. Yeah, we saw Cripple do that perfectly. But then on the other end, there was nothing done retaliation by Winona to even prepare for that counter gank or even anticipate it. Because instead, you could be like, he's going to expect me bot side. So instead, I'll go top and try and help out and put Snowkin behind, even though he's already incredibly ahead. Like, at least do something that's not too predictable.
Graves was behind at the point, and he was trying to catch up with the farm, and he just cleared his bot side jungle. They either needed to get vision somewhere and try to find Cripple so they know where he is if he's setting up for the counter gank, or if you don't see him, you just drop a ward in river and say, hey, play safe. We don't know where he is. He could be in that bush.
Yeah, because especially when you're behind, you don't want to make too many risky plays. Yes, you need them at some point to make it so you can try and come back. But at the same time, if you go for every risky play possible, you're just going to throw yourself into a further deficit.
Exactly.
All right. But that will do it for game number 2. We'll be coming back in just a few moments to hit you up with game number 3. That is going to be finishing off the night as we see Gustavus play against St. Cloud. So right now, Gustavus is in the bottom of the standings. They are guaranteed to not make it into the playoffs at this point. They are fully out. Meanwhile, St. Cloud still has a chance to make it in if they can win these next few games. But it's going to be quite difficult for them to try and make it up there.
See you, Mitch. Hello and welcome everybody to day 1 of our week 10 for the Minnesota LCS. I am Sir Buttkick, Steve Sir Buttkick Kangas, filling in finally now for the last game of the evening. They got a hold of me, and I'm taking over from Mitch this evening. Everybody give him a shout out in the Twitch chat for doing such a great job as I was away for a little bit. But I am joined still by Don Fen. Don, any words for the fans for me coming in?
Well, it's glad to have someone that I'm comfortable with again on my side. I have to say that. Like, it's a little awkward when you're casting with someone that you're not exactly used to for the first time, especially on a last-second note, but... You
heard it from Fen first, Twitch chat. Mitch loses to Sir Buttkick. True. So tell me about this game that we're about to watch here.
Well, we have Gustavus versus St. Cloud. So Gustavus right now is in the bottom of the standings. They have zero way of coming back into the playoff bracket. So really this game for them is more trying to decide whether or not they want to let St. Cloud into the playoffs or if they want to try and keep St. Cloud away as well. Meanwhile, St. Cloud is sitting at, let me just double check that I have it right. I believe they are just outside of these brackets, currently sitting at a 2-7 win rate, where they need at least 2 wins to make it where they're above the CSS Pupper Dogs. And if they can go ahead of either Pupper Dogs or Winona, then they cinch themselves for the playoffs. They just need to get these 2 wins. If they lose this next game, then I believe they will be out of the playoffs, unless if they win the head-to-head tiebreaker with Pupper Dogs.
Yeah, so again, what we're saying here essentially is Gustavus, they don't have that much fight left in them right now, as they're not really fighting for a playoff spot, but what they can do is deny St. Cloud from getting that spot. So that's really what this match is going to say. If St. Cloud loses this, then they're absolutely out. If they win, then they have to get their win next week against Winona, Tuesday, April 11th. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about a lot of going forward, is what's going to motivate Gustavus here, because this is, I believe, their last match of the entire... No, okay, they do also have a match next week, but still, what's motivating them to get this win right now, Don?
I think at this point it's going to be at least trying to make it so that they don't seem as low for next season. That way they can at least deliver a message saying, hey, we're starting to climb back now, fear us later on. Because also they have 2 subs going to be filling in for them today in this next game. So maybe these subs are going to be showing up something that we've never seen before. Or even better, we may just see something completely magical happen to where Gustavus starts swinging around and they can make a name for themselves.
Yeah, perhaps this is them saying, look, we got 2 weeks left, we're out of playoffs. Let's give some of our backups a chance to actually play in this tournament and see what they can do. Because, I mean, we haven't seen some of these players yet. So this is their chance to shine. They have a couple weeks to prove that maybe they are worthy of that starting roster. And maybe what wasn't working for Gustavus was just the team synergy of who they had before.
Yeah, and what we're going to be seeing now is going to be Dracos and Code Revenger being the 2 people filling in. And it looks like it's going to be... Alright, it's going to be 0-5 in the mid lane, 0-5 AD carry. I just remember what our little code for them was, since they're the same name.
Dude, welcome to my life. I call them 0-5 and then 0-5. If I'm upset, I'll say Z3 I'll use the full name, but otherwise just 0.
Oh, so kind of like one of those angry parents that say.
Yeah, you know when they say your middle name and you're like, oh man, I really did something bad now.
Yeah.
Exactly. But talking about now Gustavus, something about their team that's really interesting to note in the past is just the average rank of these players being lower than the average of any of the other teams. When you're taking a look at just every single player put together, 0-5 being the highest, Diamond 5 right now. But then actually looking at Code Revenger, I'm not seeing a rank for him. I'm unsure, maybe this is a Smurf, maybe this is actually a player that is unranked right now, but that's just
an unranked player. Okay,
that is another interesting thing to note, though, however, playing against Combray topside, what's that going to look like?
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of Gustavus, we also saw that they kind of have an interesting style of picks, just because they brought Callista the last few times that they played, a champion that we haven't seen in quite a long time, as well as some other more rare picks that we don't see too often. That's one thing I kind of like about this team. They always bring some of that breath of fresh air. Meanwhile, we still have yet to talk much about St. Cloud. So what do you think about this team? The main thing I can always remember about St. Cloud is they have a great early game, but they always have trouble trying to close out the games that they start gaining a lead in.
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with their team compositions. In picks and bans, they seem a little limited in what they're comfortable playing. We just talked about Gustavus. They try new things. They kind of play off the meta every now and then. Whereas St. Cloud, they kind of have their own meta. They play champs that they know they work well with, but sometimes that can be limiting when you can only do one thing well, which for them has historically been the early game. They can do very well, but then they have difficulty translating that into those late game wins. Putting Berga on a lot of initiating junglers like Zach and Vi, and then having their support use AD carry as bait, play a lot of Zillion and a lot of Zyra, kind of more squishy supports. Zillion typically would be known for one that has great survivability. And now we're actually seeing Vi, though, banned out against Berga. So Gustavus doing their homework.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to be going for a attempted complete ban against Berge, which we may see a Zac ban come out next. However, we still have a ban to come out from St. Cloud, which I'm not exactly too sure what they would want to ban. Perhaps maybe one of those tanky or bruiser top laners that we've been seeing gain a lot of popularity, such as Renekton or Nautilus. We've been seeing them throughout the last few games a lot. Or the Darius.
And honestly, I don't mind this. The top lane for Gustavus historically has played it, but keep in mind, this is a different top laner. So I don't know if that translates exactly over to current Gustavus lineup, but we understand what Gustavus is banning next, and that's the Jace.
Yeah, so Jace is something that Combray has played twice. 1 win, 1 loss. And overall, though, he has a pretty decent showing whenever he goes on the Jace. It's a strong champion. I can understand the ban. And
then the Lucian, actually, coming out instead of the Callista, instead of the Caitlyn, taking away a champion. Zach is up. You are correct.
Ooh, I wonder if St. Cloud is going to go for it right away, or if it's going to be Tim Pansinski going for the immediate pickup on it.
And Tim Panshinsky in the past playing more of those carry junglers, playing Graves, playing Rengar. So this would be a change of form if he decides to play that more initiating tanky jungler. And Anivia as the final ban. I'm actually curious what is kind of motivating these bans currently from the side of St. Cloud.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't remember 0-5 ever playing Anivia. Ever. I can understand the Darius and Lucian, but the Anivia is kind of confusing. Meanwhile, we can see an immediate Caitlyn pickup. So Zach is still open for Berge. I imagine it's going to be picked up immediately for him, or they may save it for later, suspecting that Tim Pansinski will not want to go for it, but...
Tim Pachinsky.
Oh, it's okay. So
Tim
it's with like a,
yes.
So a ch sound.
Yeah. Like
okay.
Czech, like Czechoslovakian. That was my attempt at a Czechish accent. Is it Czechish or just Czech? I think it's Czech. Anyway, getting back into the picks.
Yeah.
Something interesting is that, yes, Zach is left up, but this means that maybe St. Cloud doesn't need to pick it right away. Maybe they can pick it a little later if they want to instead grab something else that they consider a priority because they believe that they're going to get the Zach no matter what. They lock in the Lulu. That is absolutely a priority pick right now. I like that they're able to pick that up.
Another priority I could see would be an Orianna right now, just because Friends24 has played Orianna in the past. However, they decided to go with the laning partner for this Lulu, which is going to be an Ezreal.
And the Ezreal versus Caitlyn matchup, just constantly poking each other. This is one that we've seen in the past, and honestly, it can really go either way. A lot of it depends on where the jungler puts their pressure, but I definitely like Ezreal with Lulu. And I can't really think of a support that I'm going to like Dracos playing more than the Lulu right now.
I would love to see a Braum actually get picked up right now, just because Braum would do so much to stop a lot of the Lulu and the Ezreal damage, because Braum with your shields can actually block the Polymorph, because Polymorph is a projectile. However, it's going to be Janna picked up as well as... Yes, we have a Warwick!
The first Warwick I've seen in a very long time. This should be a lot of fun going forward here. It's an interesting jungler, kind of tanky, does a lot of damage, much more than you would expect, even after some minor nerfs to his ultimate. So I think he's just an overall strong pick, and also a very reliable one. He can clear relatively quickly, but he has a safe clear, and he can also have very, very powerful ganks once he reaches level 6.
I think the next part about Warwick too is that unlike most of the carry junglers we see played by Gustavus in the past, Warwick is more of a jungler that can still play from behind. Just because he has the AoE fear, he has his ultimate, he can lock people down, and he has a lot of sustain to where he can still be hard to kill if he's behind, just because he has so much innate sustain with his Q and his passive.
Yeah, really strong at landing picks, but on the side of St. Cloud, Olaf locked in. I'm assuming it's going to be a top Olaf. That's something new that I haven't seen so far in Minnesota LCS.
Yeah, Olaf typically would be taken in the jungle role. However, a top lane Olaf would be able to much more easily run down this Caitlyn Janna combo, because what use is Janna's peel if it's someone who can't be crowd controlled?
If it's somebody who can't be peeled, exactly.
Yeah, like it'd be like trying to peel an already peeled banana. You can't peel it any further.
Or I guess that's it. I was thinking more of like one of those golden bananas from Donkey Kong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what was in my head. But we don't want to reference other competing video games.
I don't think Donkey Kong Country would compete with Nintendo in terms of popularity. But whatever you say.
Meanwhile, Donkey Kong.
Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we see a Cassiopeia hover as well as a Teemo. I doubt the Teemo will be locked in for Olaf. That would be a horrible idea.
I've lost hope at this point. I mean, oh my god!
You got what you wanted, Sir Buttkick. Are you happy?
Thank you. That's all I can say. Thank you, Code Revenger. I'm gonna write a fan fiction about Gustavus that they went out and found the best Teemo unranked player in North America. We're like, hey, want to join our team just for Sir Buttkick, just so I can see this matchup.
I highly doubt that. We're still waiting for mid lane to get locked in. I actually wouldn't be surprised if we see something like a Syndra or an Orianna picked up right now, just because that would be such a good matchup versus Cassiopeia. You would have a lot of engage potential, as well as someone that could kind of pick off whoever the Janna is not peeling for at the moment. However, the Kayle also would really help, because if you have the Kayle ultimate on top of the Olaf and speeding up with the heal, that would also be huge. Instead,
but it is the Fizz locked in. Very different champ than the Kayle. I'm curious what the difference was between those two, what the team was talking about when they were trying to decide which one plays better with their own comp and into the opponent's comp.
Yeah, I think part of the Fizz is going to be more for a solo matchup compared to the Cassiopeia, just because with Fizz, if you can all in and you use the Playful Trickster over the Miasma, then you don't have to worry about not being able to dash or like avoid the big ultimate of Cassiopeia with the Petrifying Gaze. Plus, Fizz with his Shark and everything else could pretty much 100-0 Cassiopeia, who usually doesn't build too much defense.
Yeah, I definitely like the Fizz pick more than Kayle. I think it not only has a better position just in the meta, but it's just a more fun champ to watch. Kayle can be typically boring. It's like, oh, she used ultimate and just auto attacks to death because she has her 3-item power spike. Whereas Fizz, there's a lot more intricacy around it, and Springs 24 is definitely one of those players that can really play mechanically.
Yeah, I actually was kind of hoping we would be able to see another showcase of Springs 24's Orianna, because I don't remember the last time I really got to see that pop off, but it is beautiful to see those shockwaves, just one after the other, always landing.
Springs Ari is also a treat to behold, but we'll see what 0-5 can do. Again, 0-5 being the top-ranked player on Gustavus' side is definitely going to be the one that I think St. Cloud needs to focus down. So I would expect to see Berga roaming mid a lot, having a lot of jungle proximity towards the Fizz to try to get him ahead, because if they can shut down Cassiopeia, not only is she a later scaling champ, but also if she's playing from behind, it's going to be a very difficult game for Gustavus to win.
Yeah, that's exactly what this point's going to be, just because Gustavus either needs to get ahead or they at least need to stay even. If they get behind even a little bit, it's going to be way too hard for them to climb back out of this, just because they don't have that tanky initiator that they really want. Yes, they have the Warwick, but also I just realized Warwick doesn't have Ghost. Whoops.
Very true. Instead, taking the Flash, it's more of a defensive summoner spell. Flash isn't used as much as Ghost is to get into the fight, typically used to get out of a bad fight when you're playing Warwick. That's at least been my experience seeing the champ played and talking to various junglers around the Minnesota campus. But I most do agree Ghost absolutely is the one that is just a better situational item, or summoner spell.
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm sure you're happy to see the Teemo pick, but I'm just not too sure what they're planning to do against the Olaf, because you can blind Olaf, you can't blind a thrown axe at your face.
Yeah, I think the plan from Gustavus is have fun. Honestly, this comp looks like a lot of fun to me. They have the Teemo, which I'm so happy about. They have the Warwick, which is a really fun jungler, not only to play, but also to watch on screen. Him jumping around, attacking all these squishy targets like the Fizz, like the Ezreal. Unfortunately, St. Cloud does have that Lulu, making it difficult to kind of assassinate these targets. But I'm expecting to see just a really fun match coming out from Gustavus here.
Oh, and the most saying always from a Warwick is that blood sense. Seeing the trail, hearing that music, it's just intense. You have to admit it.
Yeah, one of the top 5 most terrifying things in League of Legends is when you get low as a support and you're like, oh, Warwick knows where I am. But then you realize it's not Nocturnal. He's not coming for you necessarily, but he knows where you are.
Yeah, and meanwhile, one thing that I really wonder is whether or not UZADC's base is going to be sticking right next to Sean Nelson in Springs 24, or if he's going to be saving his Whimsy more for Cumbre to make it so he can make this Olaf even faster and much bigger of a threat. Because I feel like if Cumbre gets even a little bit ahead, he could easily be the biggest threat, just using the Ragnarok in cohesion with Ghost and Whimsy to just run it down the enemy team and murder Caitlyn.
Yeah, not only does Ragnarok speed you up and make you immune to any effects, enemy champions, but also the Wild Growth, making him virtually unkillable paired with Ragnarok. I would honestly like to see that, but that's the amazing thing about St. Cloud's comp here is that UZAD Kyrie as bait has so many options. I mean, they probably won't, but he could even use it on someone like Burga just to get extra CC as Burga's jumping into the enemy team, if they're just trying to layer CC like that. But getting into this game, our final game of the evening, we have St. Cloud playing Cumbre in the top lane with Burga jungle, Springs 24 mid with Sean Nelson, and UZAD carry as bait in the bot lane. And Gustavus out of playoffs, but not out of our hearts. Code Revenger subbing in the top, Tipachinsky in the jungle, 0-5 mid with 0-5, and Dracos on the bottom side. Don't be shy, Twitch chatters. Tell us who you think is going to win. Hashtag Gustavus or hashtag St. Cloud.
Yeah, for this game, I don't really want to say who I think is going to win, but let me just say this. I'm not a Teemo fan. So let that be a hint as to who I want to win.
I'm going to put my Teemo bracelet on right now.
You're the person who ran double Loot and Echo Teemo supports. I remember that.
It's Drive by Teemo. No, it's Moby Boots with 4 Luden's Echo and Dead Man's Plate. And all you do is run and queue the 80 carry and then run away and put streams down. It's really fun, honestly. Yeah, everybody should try it out.
It may be fun, but it's completely worthless.
Fun fact, Luden's Echo Speed Boost does stack. It's not a unique passive. It just says 10% bonus movement speed.
Yeah, but the poke passive doesn't stack. Why not just get a Lich Bane so you can like queue then auto and you?
Because that's only an 8% movement speed buff. Come on. Regardless, I doubt we're going to see Code Revenger playing that in this game. The question is, though, is he going to go for a full AP build or more of a hybrid? Honestly, for anybody who knows anything about Teemo, you know that he's almost more annoying when he goes for that on-hit build.
Oh yeah, especially if you go with something such as Wits and Runin's Hurricane, Frozen Mallet, Gwintu's Rage Blade. It's just so much on hit, plus the Frozen Mallet's slow, makes it incredibly hard to chase him. But again, he's against an Olaf, who doesn't get affected too hard by the blind. So I really want to know how he's going to try and play against this specifically.
And honestly, I don't know this interaction, but I'm going to assume that Ragnarok prevents the blind from going through. Am I right in that?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so that's even more difficult, but we don't even have time to talk, because there's already a gank on the top side. Code Revenger flashes away under his turret, but not to safety. First blood picked up by Burga.
Ooh, having to burn his flash in order to secure that kill, but it is a flash for flash with one kill going right over to him, so that's going to be actually a pretty decent lead, although he will be a little bit behind in experience, as we can see that Tim Pachinski will be hitting level 3 right after this blue buff. Burga, on the other hand, is already 300 gold ahead. Got a kill, made it so that Code Revenger already has to burn his teleport, just making it so that Combray will have a slightly easier lead in this lane already.
But what's interesting is Combray actually didn't use that time to get incredibly ahead in CS. So in the end of the day, Code Revenger's not in a horrible spot, but definitely not in the ideal position. Talking more about that jungle, though, Tim Pachinski already taken an early back. Burga, if he's able to clear up his jungle and back, he's not going to be on the map necessarily, as Tim Pachinski might be looking to make his first ganks. So I'm curious where Tim Pachinski is going to want to go.
Yeah, I feel like Tim Pachinski could either go top lane right now with this well-pushed up Olaf, or he could actually just continue farming, look to hit level 6, and potentially try and sneak this Infernal Dragon, because, as we mentioned, the early game is where Gustavus is going to want to play around the most, and Infernal Dragon is definitely what will help you try and snowball at least a little bit in the early game.
Ooh, and we're seeing aggression coming out from Gustavus' bot side. Drakos playing Janna, thinking he's playing Brand, just backing down. Sean Nelson and UZD carries bait, actually coming ahead in that trade. I like the aggressive playstyle. They got level 3 first, so they understood that they were stronger.
Yeah, but already we can see that Drakos is going to be taking quite a bit of poke back from UZDC's bait and Sean Nelson. They are ranged champions who can poke fairly easily, so you have to remember that when you're going for this. You have to respect whenever the enemy can poke you back. You don't just simply walk up and take the hits.
Very true. You got to understand, you got an advantage by poking them down a little bit. Well, run away. Wait for your cooldowns to come back up. Don't give them a chance to poke you right back, because otherwise your advantage is gone. And talking about poke, Combray is not having a fun time on the top side against his teamo. But here is Burga on the bot side. Oh, great tornado from Drakos, knocking Burga away. Exhaust is down, but 0 and 5 has all sums up, as 0 and 5 trying to take down Spring 24. Flash over the wall, and 0 and 5 flashes to barely land the auto. Here's Tim Pachinski on the bot side. Not actually able to get anything for it, but making his presence known.
Yeah, and with at least that presence, it's going to make it so that 0 and 5 and Drakos can at least get a little bit of easier farming right now, just because it's going to be forcing Sean Nelson use ADC as baits for, or force him away for even just a little bit. And any farm lead can eventually lead up to something bigger, especially with a Caitlyn who, once you get a little bit of crit, especially that Infinity Edge, can start poking with the headshot passive incredibly hard.
Yeah, but talking about farm leads, let's look at this mid lane. 0 and 5 not only got the solo kill, but also pushes the entire wave up on Springs 24. Ahead, double CS right now.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that before. And that is going to be massive just because you'll be having the tier finished already, as well as some other items coming in, such as the Negatron Cloak. Maybe so it's going to be basically nearly impossible for Sprint 24 to try and all-in you.
And we're already seeing Code Revenger even getting a slight CS lead on the Combray. We were talking about the Olaf into the Teemo. Teemo can't blind those axes, but Teemo can poke with his auto attacks. He doesn't need an ability in order to knock down the Olaf.
Yeah, in a way, you could also be really annoying and blind the Olaf as he's going for farm to make it so he just misses. Because I've had Teemos do that to me whenever I'm in the top lane. Meanwhile, a little bit of poke going on between the bot lane right now. Yeah,
this is the classic Janna into a Lulu, or Janna into Karma, or Janna into Soraka. Any kind of support that's actually a support. They're just there to keep their AD carry alive. All you can really do is poke at each other. There's not going to be that many 2v2 kills coming in here, but there are waves getting pushed, and this is what Caitlyn's able to do, pushing in the waves, making it so Sean Nelson is having a difficult time farming under turret.
Yeah, and with these traps coming out, it's going to be making it even harder just because you won't be able to really walk around the tower. One little trick with Caitlyn you can do, though, is that you can place a trap directly behind the tower to where it's actually invisible, and it's kind of a really cheap shot type of trick because imagine how awful it feels to get snared behind a tower where you can't even see the thing that snared you.
Yeah, you're like, what? That wasn't there. I swear. I was watching where I was looking, or going.
Yeah.
What we're seeing here, actually, Code Revender taking an odd back. He was ahead in CS, decides to back and get Seeker's arm guard, and then walks back into lane. He was pretty healthy. I would have liked to see him stick around a little longer, wait for TP maybe, or at least wait for Combre to trigger his back as well, because now it's going to be a little behind in farm, but does get a chance to push into Combre. Keep in mind, Berga is topside, so I'd expect to see another gank happening there.
Potentially, but another thing I would love to see Berga doing right now is he has vision in the river already, and he knows that the blue buff is about to spawn on the side of Chimpachinski. He could easily walk down there, ward the blue buff, see if Warwick is going to be down there, and know if he's safe to go for this gank, or if he could potentially go for a buff steal right now. It looks like he's going to be trying giving over the blue buff to 0-5, and with seeing him leave the mid lane, it can be safely assumed that he's going to be over there taking that buff, and instead, Berga could turn his attention down towards the bot lane.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about in the pre-game analysis. St. Cloud needs to shut down 0-5. If they can get 0-5 behind, it's going to be a much easier game for them. But that's going to be a difficult task to do now, as Cassiopeia comfortably ahead in lane.
Yeah, another big thing that really comes with shutting down 0-5 is shutting down his other teammates so that he can't really walk around and help them. Because as Cassiopeia with this ghost, actually never mind.
Oh, Dre Cross getting aggressive onto Sean Nelson. That's the Janna we all like to see. Not hiding behind the AD carry, but meanwhile on the top side, Code Revender taking some damage from Combre. He has teleport, so maybe this is where he backs and comes back into lane.
Alright, and the Chum the Water's landing, not doing any damage though, as 24 only has a double Dorans and boots, so he really won't be doing any damage. Right now he could have instead been looking to roam around with Berge.
Ooh, Dracos getting very aggressive again onto Sean Nelson, taking so much damage and not that much traded back. Questionable a lot of times, and this is what, this is why you see with Janna. You shield the AD carry, you don't shield yourself because your shield also grants on-hit bonus damage. So if you're able to put that on the Caitlyn and let her kind of tank up the damage, at least she's doing more also. So I'm curious Dracross's decision here to play that frontline Janna. We'll see if it pays off for them, as, again, this 2v2 is getting aggressive on the bot side. It looks like they're actually all inning. There is the Janna ultimate. Sean Nelson gets hit by Lulu, the Wild Growth, keeping him alive just barely. Exhaust also is out. Now Berger's in the mid lane. 0-5 getting ganked. Goes down to Springs 24, but can he get anything for it? Berga pops the passive, but might live. Timpachinski could pick it up, however. Going in onto Springs 24. There's the turret taking him down. Can you get the kill? Flash away, flash in for Timpachinski. And the teleport was actually canceled by Combre.
Funny enough, the teleport was also misclicked onto a minion rather than a Zac blob. So it wouldn't have done much anyways.
That was the bigger thing.
Yeah.
And slight mistakes there, not only from Combre, but also from 0-5. Unfortunately, missing the miasma, as Springs 24 was in Playful Trickster during that time.
But thanks to that play, we actually see that Gustavus was able to climb back just a little bit. Now the gold is evened out. And the only real thing that could sway the gold real soon is going to be a gank coming in this bot lane as Springs 24 arrives.
He does not have Ignite, but he has Flash. Ult goes a little wide. The little carrot's face. That's what Springs 24 is thinking. Like, I missed, and Flash away from 0-5. Means that he'll survive. Timpachinski, level 6, ultimate available. Does he go for it? Use 80 carries base so low. No Wild Growth available. Misses, but still trying to get the damage there. Can he get the auto attack resets with the Tiamat? Berger coming in, jumps through. Sean Nelson picking up a kill. And they want more. Berger using the Chilling Smite onto Dracos, but it looks like they're going to be able to walk away from this one.
Yeah, and it ended up being a gank that did go in their favor. Simpachinski was caught out trying to get the counter gank on. It was 4-on-3, and honestly, right now, the side of St. Cloud could easily turn their attention towards this dragon. They have the pink ward right on it, so they know that there's no wards in that pit. I don't know why they didn't go for it immediately. This could have been a huge gain for them.
Yeah, this Infernal Drake is going to be really big for that
Top
team.
lane.
Ragnarok popped by Combre. Code Revenger flashes away. He's just trying to wait it out. Can he get the Q? And there it is, but there's no chance of survival as Combre picks up a solo kill. This is exactly what we were talking about. Once Olaf hits that level 6, and now he's level 10. I'm surprised we didn't see that earlier, but no fear, just running down Teemo.
Yeah, and now we can see that he is going to be having a quite high lead against his Teemo. He has the X-Stringer, he has a Phage, soon to be a Black Cleaver once he gets the Kindle Gem and backs. So honestly, I don't really know what Code Revenger can really do except for trying, I guess, pressure side lanes without ever leaving the turrets. However, he's already going to be teleporting back, so it's going to be a teleport advantage over to the Sun to St. Cloud in just about 20 seconds once Cobra gets his back up.
Yeah, and Code Revenger actually opting for that full AP build, I would assume. Looking to go for Zonia's Hourglass first item. A questionable pickup. Yes, it keeps you alive against the Olaf as he's running in on you, but does it keep you alive for long enough is the question. I would like to see something along the lines of Leandri's if you're going for that AP build, but there we go. There is the dragon picked up for St. Cloud.
Alright, and with that dragon going over towards him, that means that soon Sean Nelson and Spring 24, once they pick up a little bit more of ability power and attack damage, will be doing incredible amounts in these team fights. However, I feel like the best resource for St. Cloud right now is definitely going to be Cromberry, the highest level champion in this game right now, and already 1 kill and a decent farm lead over his opponents with a Hex Drinker. That's going to also make him quite formidable against 0-5, who is the biggest threat on the side of Gustavus.
Yeah, and talking about that Olaf ultimate, the Ragnarok, he can just run down the Cassiopeia. There's not much he can do about it. She doesn't get that tanky and isn't opting to get her own zonias, but here's the all-in from Sean Nelson. Ultimate coming in from Janna, but she's taking so much damage. Could have canceled it and ran under turret, but decides to keep it going, trying to heal up 0-5, pays with her life.
Alright, so that's going to be a kill on Dracos going over, and now Sean Nelson, I almost said Sprint 24, Sean Nelson going for a little bit of aggression onto 0-5 again. Could we see a dive soon?
Tim Pachinski catching out Springs 24. Playful Trickster, is it available? Barely able to get out of that so we can flash the wall. Almost getting locked down though. If 0-5 was able to get there and get the Petrifying Gaze in, it might have been game over for him.
Yeah, the issue is that with the Playful Trickster up and ready to go, you can't really go for the Petrifying Gaze knowing that could easily be dodged out. Instead, going for this poke is the much better option. Right now we can see that Sprint 24 is rushing for that Lich Bane, a very aggressive build option rather than something such as a Morel Namicon or a Abyssal Scepter. I feel like I much would have preferred the Abyssal Scepter just because you have 2 magic damage threats focusing you right now from the side of Tim Pachinski as well as 0-5. So in all honesty, you should be focusing that.
Burga top lane going in on a Code Revenge. This is another gank. Another Ragnarok means another kill as Combre picks up that one. Burga barely going down. His passive is up, but Tim Pachinski is here. Teleport is available. Is not channeled. Burga, can you survive? The blast gets him right into 0-5. Not the member you want to give the kills to. Almost a great escape there, though.
Yeah, that was a very smart move by 0-5 to roam up, knowing that there was a small chance for Burga to escape. He ended up burning his flash, and also just escaping in order to see 0-5 staring him right in the face, saying, "Hi there, buddy. You forgot me."
And looking at, again, this goal differential, very close game still. Gustavus picking up first tower on the bot side, 0-5 with Dracos. Doing a really good job, not only getting ahead in farm, but just constantly pressuring Sean Nelson under his own turret. 0-5 almost having his coal completed.
And that's exactly the thing about a Caitlyn John bot lane. You have her where Caitlyn's going to be constantly shoving up, saying down those cupcake traps in order to zone away the lane opponents. And with the lack of range from both an Ezreal and a Lulu, you can't really fight back against it. Anytime you do try to, you have Dracos right there providing the shields to make it so that all of your attempts to fight back are null and void. Meanwhile, we can see that they're actually going to be saying 0-5 and Dracos over to the top lane, while a 1-on-3 is going to be happening down this bot lane with Burga down here. Soon be diving.
And Code Revenger went bot lane saying, get me away from Combre, get me away from Berga, but Berga just follows him down there. Timpachinski on a Combre in the top lane meanwhile. 0 and 5 is here for backup. Ragnarok has popped, getting him out safely. Timpachinski decides to go in and just cannot handle the damage output from Olaf.
Jeez, that is
0 and 5 on the back line. Dracos on the front. Ghost popped from Combre. Can they get the knock up? There it is. The blast cone knocks him over the walls. Says, hey there, guys. Don't mind me. I'm just trying to get out as he is running past every member of Gustavus. Actually gets out with his life.
Yeah, he does not have the Ghost or Ragnarok up just yet, so it was actually pretty amazing the fact that he was able to get out of there just fine. Meanwhile, we can see Spring 24 trying to go on to 0 and 5.
Taking a lot of damage in the meantime. Dracos flashing over the wall, trying to save his life. Combre in and gets actually hit by 0 and 5's ultimate. Can he get the poison? Not quite. Did not expect Combre to be right there.
Ooh. Alright, so that means that they'll finally be able to be pressuring this mid tower right now. There is no wave clear right there to defend it. Potentially it could be a tower for tower trade right here. It looks like Combre is going to be teleporting up to that top lane instead. We see a disconnect from Sean Nelson and the pause coming out right away.
It's not an MNLCS game without at least one disconnect. Let's be honest about that.
Funny enough, since you weren't here the first 2 games, I can tell you right now, Game 1 had roughly 10 minutes worth of disconnects and pauses.
Oh,
Game 2 had about 6 minutes.
that is painful. Shout out to the viewers for sticking through that. You guys are awesome.
And for all we know, everyone could be gone, and we're just having fun at this point casting.
Most likely. Although I like to believe Code Revenger is listening, that he is hearing my Teemo strats and
well, he's not going beyond hit build like we mentioned he could. He's instead going for that full AP build with the Zhonya's first item.
What's interesting about that, again, is the full AP build means that you drop shrooms everywhere in the jungle, and you kind of sit back in team fights. You just try to pop that Q onto Sean Nelson, onto Combre if the Ragnarok is down, and you just let your teammates do most of the fighting as you get a lot of vision in the jungle with your shrooms. The thing about on-hit Teemo is you still get that vision. You don't do as much damage, but you can be a split push machine. That's Dracos just gets destroyed by Spring 24. He doesn't actually want to go away. Playful Trickster means he doesn't even take a turret shot.
Yeah, and here's where this aggressive...
Oh, jumps right back onto Code Revenger. There's the wild growth. The CC as well as the shields from that turret. Another easy pickup. Now 4 and 1. 0 and 5's got to be wondering, why are you feeding my laner team?
Yeah, and here is where the Lichbane aggressive early build on Spring 24 is actually going to be paying off, because he's actually pulling it out quite well. When you have the W in kind of this cooperative effort with the Lichbane, the amount of damage you're going to do is insane. We saw that right onto Dracos, just bursting with roughly 300 damage in one auto attack this early in the game.
Yeah, and I think that you were criticizing the Lichbane instead of the more MR build that you could do as defense against 0 and 5's Cassiopeia, but
That's
I do like the Lichbane again. What was that?
But like I said, the criticism is there for when he's against 0 and 5. In that case, he was against Dracos and Code Revenger, who aren't really threats. They're both behind, and one of them is a Janna.
Exactly, so. And now we're actually seeing Code Revenger not even completing his Zoni's Hourglass, instead getting Haunting Guys, meaning that he might actually be building into that Liandry's. Signaling maybe some confusion from this player, not quite sure what he wants to build, but I don't mind the Liandry's, I just would like to see it first.
Yeah, I would like to see the Zoni's Hourglass first, just because having the active would be very good against Combre, since you could wait out most of the Ragnarok duration by having the Zoni's there. Like, if you're worried about him avoiding your blind or your shrooms, you place a shroom, you sit on top of it, you Zonia's, he's going to sit there waiting while the shroom's hurting him, and then you blind him right after Zonia's ends.
But keep in mind, he does have that Maw, meaning that the AP coming in from Code Revenger isn't going to do that much damage. The extra Magic Pen from the Sorcerer's Boots, as well as Haunting Guys, will help out a little bit in that respect.
Yeah, the only member who's really going to be doing decent amounts of damage to Combre right now is going to be 0 and 5, who has yet to even complete the Infinity Edge just yet. He will be back in real soon with roughly 1,300 gold, so that should be a close to complete Infinity Edge. He needs only about 150 more gold.
And opting to still have that coal on hand, even though it's been completed for about 5 minutes now, I believe. Mid-turret goes down, but 0 and 5 wanted to go in on these 80 carries, but couldn't quite find his way in. But Berga does as he goes in for the side of St. Cloud. Combray immediately gets a kill. Exhaust means nothing to the Olaf. Tim Paczynski flashing on the turret, 0 and 5, trying to peel, actually able to survive. Combray on the back line. Axe goes wide, shut down for Code Revenger, and Gustave is doing a decent job of surviving this dive. Combray, the blind was stopping the autos, but not the thrown axes.
Yeah, as mentioned before, you can blind autos, you cannot blind a thrown axe at your face. So, in all honesty, this is where Olaf does really well against Team. You're not incredibly auto attack reliant, you're more ability reliant with your Q and your E. And I also really want to see them try and continue sieging this tower, but with members already respawning, you kind of have to back off. And there's still not too much vision control from either team. Yeah, there are a lot of wards down in that bot lane, or towards the bot side river, but that's not where you're trying to control anymore. You want to control towards this top side to have Baron set up and ready. In case you have another fight like that, if you kill 3 members of Gustavus again, you want to immediately turn towards Baron rather than continue the dive.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The difficulty here with Gustavus, talking about how, yes, this win doesn't necessarily mean much for the standings, but it means something for the team. A win is a win is a win, is a very common saying, and they definitely want to pick this up. It's got to be frustrating when you have 0 and 5 so far ahead of his lane opponent in CS. Getting to that 2-item power spike, the 3rd item is really what gets Caitlyn going, and when she's able to get that rapid fire cannon, then even the Bloodthirster later on. But not being able to pick up a single kill or assist and just farming for 22 minutes.
I wouldn't be surprised with all the health stacking that we see coming in from Combray and Berge if we actually see a Blade the Rune King instead of a Bloodthirster, just because it would add that much more damage to them.
And also, it could help her survivability potentially. But 0 and 5 getting caught out by Combray. The Ragnarok is popped. The poison is in. The damage is there. Can Combray even get the kill? He does. But it's traded right back as Tim Paczynski gets the shutdown.
Yeah, however, that means that most of the wave clear is going to be down for the side of Gustavus, and this is going to be a free mid tower over here, potentially another dive.
And Springs 24 is ready. Berga is ready. Both go wide. Drakos gets hit by the True Shot Barrage, actually knocking the enemy team into his own 80 carry. That's use 80 carry as Bates' job, not you, Drakos. I like the attempt, though, as Code Revenger taking a lot of poke here. Almost goes down, flash away from Springs 24. Ignite is there, getting the kill. Tim Paczynski goes down as well. Polymorph preventing him from healing up off the enemy team. And really clean plays here from St. Cloud. They go for the dive when they understand that they can get it for sure.
Yeah, is this a DC from Berge, or are they going to have Combray? Oh, wow. Both top and jungler disconnected. Jungle disconnecting at the worst possible time.
I was gonna say, like, I can understand the strat of let the tank take some of those turret shots so that the minions survive longer and that they can get more damage on the turret.
But you don't let the tank die.
Yeah, that's a little more questionable. Use 80 carries, bait, try to keep them alive with some shields.
Yeah, I wonder if Rito's got some server issues over on their end, causing so many people in DC within these matches. We have so much. We had, as mentioned before, roughly 10 minutes of DC time from Game 1, 6 minutes in Game 2, and now it's going to be roughly up to 5 minutes now in Game 3.
It's okay. They don't come for the games anyway. They just come for our voices, Fen.
Well, we do have quite the sexy voices, but either way...
Well, I don't know if you gotta say that word.
Either way, we still have to focus on this game, so let's talk about what Gustavus could try and do in order to climb back. Personally, I feel like one of the better options is going to be simply focusing all resources on 0 and 5 to keep him alive.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the game, it really... Whenever you're this far behind the enemy team, the only options are farm and wait. Wait for them to make a mistake, to overstep. Wait to be able to get your pick. Maybe Sean Nelson gets a little too far forward and 0 and 5 is able to throw out Petrifying Gaze. They can just burst him down, turn that into a 5v4, clean up some other members, get Baron, come back in that way. Otherwise, just push out waves, get vision around objectives, and only fight them 5v5 if they're already distracted by Baron or by a dragon or something. because otherwise they're not going to win the 5v3.
Yeah, and we can see Combray is reconnected. Now we're just waiting on Burgay to also get back. Not too sure what he's going to try and do to survive this situation, seeing as he's already underneath tower with the miasma on top of him. So
Combray does have teleport. He could
he
fail
does.
it out.
I mean, sure, I guess they could teleport and then have the moment that Burgay respawns. Or maybe they'll have it where 0-5 is a gentleman, recognize that the DC was there, and simply says, I'm not going to attack you. You go ahead and live. Do your thing.
Could be either way. He is back into the game. Combray has been back as well. So we'll see if the siege attempt continues. There's only 2 members up, 0-5 and Dracos.
Yeah,
0-5 up in 5 seconds, though.
Yeah, and right now the turret is not even focusing Burgay, so they could easily try and utilize the teleport to save him without having the other blobs take too much damage. I just really want to know what they're going to be doing in retaliation to it, because Burgay is in a lot of trouble right here with 0-5 right there, having the petrifying gaze. He may go for the Gentleman Act if the pause even ends, because now both members are reconnected. I'm not sure why the pause is still going. There we go.
All right, 2-1, and we're back in. We're about to get those answers. 0-5 does seem to play the Gentleman.
They're being the Gentleman to Burgay, recognizing the DC was there. That's actually very nice of 0-5. You have to commend him for that, because his team's behind, but he's still going to be the nice, cooperative player.
We're Minnesotans. We're all nice. All cooperative.
Very true. Minnesota nice is a cliche for a reason. Honestly, I'm from Wisconsin. People are nice, but they're drunk, so it's not the best kind of nice.
Well, see, drunk nice is almost a more pure nice, because if somebody's nice when they're drunk, yeah, you know the saying, when you're drunk, you're acting more like yourself, or your more true self. So, hey, maybe that's something that you got above us Minnesotans. In the meantime, Dracos getting a little bit of vision, throwing down every ward he has, but in a very kind of small area, not getting a lot of vision around the objective.
That small area is nice if the objective currently being taken is going to be that mid tower. However, with the Dragon and Baron soon to be up, they have to realize that that is where focus is going to be. And they should instead turn their resources towards those areas, trying to get vision around Baron mostly, because right now that is completely dark for both teams.
Yeah, but St. Cloud is moving around there. Spring's 24 on that top side, looking to push that wave in. Signals to me that Baron is their next objective. But Combray on the bot side with teleport not available also means that he won't really be able to join that fight if they do pressure them.
Yes, however, if all 5 members of Gustavus decide to go join at the Baron, I'm pretty sure that St. Cloud, with the double Infernal and how tanky Burgay is and how strong the rest of the members are, could easily handle themselves in a 4v5, while Combray just constantly pressures this tower, meaning that they need to keep some resources there for Combray, making it even easier for them to take the Baron if they want to turn on it.
Yeah, now looking again at this vision control, Dracos drops a ward down along with the sweeping lens. Not both are necessary to get a control ward, and it doesn't even go down. This is the difficulty when you're not only this far behind, but this far pushed into your own base. It's hard to even get that vision that we're talking about.
Yeah, part of it's going to be having your team roam around with you, but again, they don't really have too many tanky members with them. They have Tim Pachinski, who only has Titanic Hydra, a Chain Vest, and a Ruby Crystal in terms of actual combat stats. The rest, he doesn't even have a Cinder Hall completed. He has nothing really going for him. He is so behind. He's the only real tank on his team right now.
Yeah, this is not looking good for the side of Gustavus' hopes and dreams of picking up another victory. Keep in mind, they do have 1 under their belt, so that is something to say that the team knows how to close out a game. But I don't know many teams that could close out this one. It's so difficult when you're this far behind. But again, they just got to keep pushing these waves, keep St. Cloud away from their turrets. The only thing they're missing now is the vision. They got to use Code Revenge Code Revenger to get those mushrooms around Baron, get wards around Baron, because that is where St. Cloud is going to look to go next.
I'm hoping that's where they look to go next. It seems like they're mostly liking to play this type of 1-3-1 style split push, pressure what they can. However, there's enough wave clear coming in from Gustavus that they're not able to actually pressure the tower too hard. And they need to get something else while they still have this pressure, because eventually that gold lead is going to become very irrelevant as everyone gets closer to those full item builds.
Yeah, I am very confused here with St. Cloud. They definitely seem to be confused with what they want to do as well. They look to be pressuring mid now. They've had the siege going for about 5 minutes, and they have not gotten this turret yet. Maybe this is the time. They have that Ocean Drake, so their sustain is a little better. The poke coming from 0 and 5 isn't as much, but Berga on the backside. Again, Dracos just pushes him over to his teammate. Springs 24 a little too far forward. Dracos flashes away, but Berga popping that ultimate, knocking up so many members. It's a split fight. 0 and 5, 0 and 5, trying to take on the front line as Berga's on the back. And again, the game is paused.
He DC'd in the middle. A double DC again in the middle of the fight.
That is just heartbreaking. And we saw Berga, he popped the ultimate, had a good engage, but then he was just standing there, and I wasn't sure exactly what was going on as I was watching other things at the same time, but it makes sense now. He couldn't move.
Yeah, and Combre was also just kind of saying they're not joining the team at all. We can see that Combre is already reconnected. Berge should be joining up real soon. However, it's just so sad to see that this has been going on.
Oh, and the pause with Warwick snarl going right at that moment. It's just unsettling.
Yeah, I actually have the noise playing in my headphone right now.
Yeah, same. Oh, it's just giving me chills. I don't like it.
I love the feral instincts type deal.
That is your preference, my friend.
Hey, in a video game about violence, I prefer feral instincts. It's savage.
Right. Yeah, I prefer art, beauty, crystallized, Tarek, and 0 and 5. Unfortunately,
they're gonna say Jin. So what, would a Jin Tarek bot lane be your favorite bot lane to have?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
The beauty combo, 0 and 5 jumping in.
Another DC
to be disconnected yet again. And another pause comes in. Well, maybe this is how Gustavus gets back into the game.
It's only just Berga and Combre that's really having this issue.
I believe that they are playing on the same internet that was in the chat, so perhaps their internet is going out at the same time because they're in the same location.
Yeah, and apparently they're going to be having them do a full restart on their internet as well as computers. So that gives us quite a bit of time to try and speak about the ways in which both teams are having improvements and lacking of really power in this case.
Oh, goody, my favorite thing. Well, the number one thing is that St. Cloud seems to be losing their edge of their communication. They were doing well when it was laning phase. They translated that well into an early mid game, but now it just seems confusing. They're not really roaming together. They're doing this interesting 1-3-1 push and then sending everybody mid to try to siege that turret. When honestly they could just go get Baron. You push in those side waves, that's fine, but then just run all 5-man to Baron, get vision around that area, and Gustavus, make them come to you, because right now they're sitting in their base. That's where they're comfortable. If they leave their base, they are going to have a much harder time fighting.
They could also really easily try and simply have done a Baron Bates, where they go towards the Baron, but not actually start. They just sit in a brush that they know is unwarded, and wait for Gustavus to actually appear, and then just simply catch him off guard with the Elastic Slingshot as well as Chum the Waters, because those are big engage tools.
Yeah, and again, it's just coming down to this is a good situation for Gustavus to be in. I was talking about all they need to do is just survive and wait. Survive and wait. Exactly. And I kept telling them they need to get vision as well around those objectives, but if St. Cloud is afraid to take those objectives or just refuses to, then honestly, you don't need to put vision around it.
Yeah, and they did just get that 4-man kill. Looks like they want to turn their attention to Baron as soon as this pause ends. I imagine that's what they're going to be doing. Meanwhile, Sean Nelson will just be pushing out this bot lane, trying to get some pressure and some form of trade, because I doubt he'll really be able to steal Baron unless if he gets a very lucky True Shot barrage, or, I mean, skilled. Don't really turn on the people, but... So we mentioned that the biggest issue right now with St. Cloud is their lack of knowledge on how to really close out a game where they simply just endlessly push and don't necessarily have the best drafted comp for a siege like this. But what about on the side of Winona? What even let them fall this far behind in the first place?
I believe you mean Gustavus. And what?
Yeah, I don't know why I said Winona.
It's okay. What let them fall behind a little bit, in my opinion, is Tim Pachinski's jungle pressure. He didn't go mid as much as I would have liked him to early. Once 0-4 or 0-5 rather got that lead, you play around that. He kept trying to help Code Revenger and keep Code Revenger alive, help put pressure top, and then once Code Revenger went bot, he went bot a lot. Honestly, Teemo's not going to win against the Olaf no matter what you try to do to help. So I would have liked Tipachinsky to maybe go bot side, try to get on Sean Nelson, or use AD carry as bait, but we were right. Baron is secured by Gustavus. This is looking really good for them right now.
Yeah, and they have this Baron is going to really be helping against the push. Meanwhile, we can see that Sean Nelson was able to at least get the tower, so there is a open inhibitor now. Not too sure how well St. Cloud is going to be able to utilize that. And I agree with you completely. The way that Tim Paczynski was kind of prioritizing his roaming around the jungle, his pathing, and the overall lanes he was focusing was very weird. He could have easily hard farmed, gone for the early dragons. We mentioned before that as a Warwick, you can easily solo Infernal Dragon early on and just sneak it underneath the enemy team's nose. He had plenty of opportunities for that. He just didn't take it.
Yeah, but what do they do with Baron? It seems like they're splitting up. Another confusing call. Gustavus, I would like to see them sit together.
I actually like this point up because it's going to be making all lanes pushing out. They're also collecting every single jungle camp they can. So basically, they're taking this opportunity to just collect a large, massive amount of gold while they have the time to, because they know that St. Cloud can't really fight back against these Baron waves that are coming up. They have to simply let it push against them. Eventually, they'll push back up because they have everyone grouped up towards the mid and top lane. But while they can, at least, they're making sure that no other waves will be collapsing onto the inhibitors.
That is very true. Again, even though they got the Baron, the name of the game is wait until you have the same amount of gold in your items as your opponent does. They might have more gold on the screen, but once you're full build, that gold doesn't really mean much.
Yeah, and most of the gold right now anyways is into the top end jungles. Meanwhile, the carries are actually incredibly close to each other. The mid lane is only separated by a 500 gold difference, while the side of Gustavus actually has their AD carry higher. Meanwhile, on the top lane...
Yeah, top lane, Combre jumping onto Code Revenger. Ragnarok goes, Redemption does not land in time. And that's one member down for Gustavus. And also, more importantly, one Baron power down from them as well. That means that he can't stay top and keep pushing that wave up.
Yeah, now Combre will actually be able
use
to
80 carries, but he might be getting caught out. The Caitlyn traps mean that he goes down, and a pickup returned for Gustavus.
Yeah, he stayed way too long right there. He expected that he wouldn't really be collapsed on so heavily, but in all honesty, he just simply didn't respect the ability for Caitlyn to snare him down with those traps one after the other. The fear from Warwick, and he's not a tanky support. Yeah, he has a tanky build with the Lock of the Ninja Tabai and the Redemption, but you're not a tank champion. You don't have the base stats for it.
And using Wild Growth on yourself never feels good as a Lulu. It's meant for the carries. Come on.
It should be up by next time a fight happens, though, with these carries. As long as they don't try and engage without using carry as bait there to join them. Meanwhile, we can see that Dragon's going to be up in about 50 seconds. The next Dragon is going to be a third Infernal. So if St. Cloud can get this into their hands, they should be able to win full 5-on-5 team fights as long as they stop tower diving and going incredibly deep. One thing that I think will really help them is having Combre initiate the fights with the side flank to distract 0 and 5 as well as Dracos, then have Brigade jump in and focus down 0 and 5.
Yeah, and the issue is Dracos playing that Janna against Ragnarok can't do much. The Monsoon at that point is almost just used as a healing tool. Just try to keep 0 and 5 and 0 and 5 alive long enough so that Combre can't burst them down. But if you use that as the healing regen, that means that you can't use it for the disengage against Burga, against Spring 24. So they're going to have to make some crucial decisions on when Dracos uses that Monsoon, and that honestly could make or break the fight. Burga catching out Dracos. Actually, it might be Burga getting caught out. Fails the jump over the wall, but the rest of the team is here. Ragnarok from Combre and means he gets the kill, as well as the Fizz ultimate. 0 and 5 heals in. The Petrifying Gaze does not land. Combre is just wrecking the backside of Gustavus. Finally goes down 0 and 5. Cannot tank everything, though.
Yeah, and
1-4-4.
Death time is right now at 50 seconds. They've easily turned straight towards that mid inhibitor with a decently sideways there as well. I'm pretty sure they could actually end the game right now with Berge having a decent amount of health. They could easily just use it to carry his bait, use the shields to keep him alive while tanking the towers, and get both inhibitors and go for an end right now if they really want to. 20 seconds left on 0-5. They could at least get one tower from the Nexus.
And keep in mind, Combre is still having teleport up, so in those 20 seconds, once he respawns, maybe he could TP onto Berga, but it is a back off.
They could have easily just focused on the mid inhibitor first, then gone onto the Nexus towers and put a huge amount of threat on those. I don't know why they didn't, but at least they're still keeping their lead. They're going to be taking the two inhibitors, putting a lot of pressure, most likely turning their attention straight towards the top lane after this as a collective unit, because now with the triple Infernal, the Ocean Drake, and everyone being able to actually stay grouped up with constant pressure in the side lanes, eventually you can wait it out until someone such as Code Revenger or 0-5 need to put some attention into those lanes to finally make that full engage.
And Combre had a huge wave on top side to clean up, getting a lot of gold, almost full build already. I'm assuming his last item will be a Guardian Angel, and that is just going to make him even more terrifying. Already level 18.
Yeah, the highest level in the game, by far the next closest, well, okay, not by far, by one level. By far compared to his opposing top laner, Code Revenger, who's only level 15 right now, still hasn't really done or bought much to go against Combray right now. Still, I want to question that teamo pick, because you know it's not going to be too good, especially when you saw the Olaf is already picked up. So why do it? Why shoot yourself in the foot?
Because they wanted to give us a show. That's the reason I'm giving them.
If they wanted to give us a show, they should have played a Lowy. I want some tentacles.
No, come on.
Come on, we haven't had a Lowy show up once in all of MNLCS. It's
you
so
dirty
fun.
Alawi player.
I'm not an Alawi player, I just like watching. It's so fun to see an Alawi get a 5-man ult and then just have all the tentacles pounding people.
So, Gustavus, back to the drawing board. Wait. Push waves and wait out the inevitable. Unfortunately, without their mid inhib or bottom inhib, this top turret seems like it's going to fall. Guardian Angel is now finally picked up by Combra. He's full build.
Yeah, and we can see that St. Cloud has actually put a decent amount of vision control right around this Baron. They have the pink ward right against the back wall, an entire trail leading from the blue buff down to the base of Gustavus. So they could turn their attention towards Baron at any point in time. I feel like the best time would be waiting for this bot wave to collapse towards the inhibitor. But
Ragnarok by Combray, two-shot barrage. Can they keep 0-5 long enough for Ragnarok to go down? He falls. Combray doesn't even die. Tipaczynski goes down as well. That's 4 members of Gustavus dead. But 0-5, the Fed member. There is the petrifying gate. Sean Nelson goes down. Jukes away Burgess initiation. Can 0-5 do it? Can he take down the members of St. Cloud? Actually doing a decent job. Spring24 flashing and gets the damage. Flash from 0-5 away. Still cannot survive the onslaught of St. Cloud, and this looks to be a game.
Yeah, this does look to be a game with Combray right onto those turrets as well. Spring24 with that Lich Bane. They will be going down quite fast. The closest member to be spawning is going to be Dracos with 7 seconds left and no turrets left. So there is no real way this is going to be defended. This will be game 3. Going over to St. Cloud, making them at that 3-6 record, I believe.
And a good game played by Gustavus. They had a decent handle on the early game, lost in the late game, and St. Cloud capitalizing on the lead that they had built for themselves.
3-7 lead.
The what?
3-7 lead. St. Cloud's at 3-7.
Yeah, I just mean in this game, capitalizing on the lead that they had against Gustavus once they got to the later stages of the mid-game. Having a little bit of a struggle closing out the game, though. I feel like with that big of a lead, they could have done it earlier, but in the end, they do pick up the W.
Yeah, as mentioned back in the pregame, that is one of the biggest issues that has been troubling St. Cloud all throughout the split. Is the fact that they can always get an early game lead, but they struggle to do something with said lead. They draft for an early to mid-game composition, they get the lead they need, but then they always just end up doing that 1-3-1 or some constant pushing strategy that can usually be countered by some team that has wave clear. In this case, that wave clear is focused all around 0-5 in that Cassiopeia, who had an amazing showing despite losing the game, we even saw that towards the end, he almost was able to clean up 2 members by himself.
Yeah, and it's absolutely ridiculous how long it took with that big of a lead for, again, St. Cloud to pick up that win. I would have liked to see it coming a lot sooner, but keeping in mind they are now in a better spot in the position of possibly making it to the playoffs. Their record currently 3-7, tied with Winona, and Pupper Dogs being 3-6. So if Pupper Dogs lose their next game, or their next 2 rather, then that leaves space for Winona or St. Cloud to be able to take that position. So that's what St. Cloud is fighting for right now.
That'd be very exciting to see if it goes down. Until then, we have one more day of this week to complete, and then we will be on our last week of the splits. It's been a long journey, man.
Yeah, it absolutely has.
Yeah, really exciting overall. We're almost hitting the playoffs soon. We have it where I believe 6 teams are now guaranteed spots, and 1 team is guaranteed out.
Yes, Gustavus, unfortunately, being the only team that it is impossible for them to be able to come back and get into a playoff spot. But the 6 teams that have secured that are Mankato State Mavericks, University of Minnesota Twin Cities Ganked by Gophers, Duluth Ram Ranch, St. Olaf, Duluth Chicken Chasers, and McAllister.
So both the UMD teams, both the UMN teams, McAllister, and then the Mankato Mavericks.
No, Pocket Picks,
Pocket Picks
Twin Cities. Yeah. They are in that fringe spot. They're
St.
currently...
Olaf was the other one then.
Right? Yes, so Pocket Picks are currently in 7th place. There is a chance that they lose that if they lose their next game and Winona picks up 2 wins, or St. Cloud picks up, one more win. Then there might be a tiebreaker playoff match.
All right, you heard it here, folks, then. And, well, we still got to say the sponsor because we never did that at the start. So do you want to do the honors?
Oh, come on, Dad. All right, well, thank you so much for Envade for sponsoring our stream. Go check out their website to see all their gaming apparel. So much thanks to the teams, all the players for putting on the show for us. Thanks for the production side here, letting us do what we do, giving us the stats and giving us the stream so that we can provide this entertainment. And again, thanks to the viewers, everybody who stopped in. If you want to get the viewer base bigger, share us on social media, share us word of mouth, get flyers up at your schools. We want to make this big. We want to make it better. And you are absolutely the biggest influencer in that. So please, please, please help us out. Give us a shout out at MNLCS on Facebook and or Twitter. And again, keep in mind, next Thursday, April 6th, 2 days from now, it's going to be maybe the most hype week in Minnesota LCS. We have Mankato State Mavericks against Ganked by Gophers, the 2 undefeated teams, both 9-0 right now. And not only that, but they're the last game of the night. So at 9 p.m., they will be facing off against each other. But the 2 matches before that will be St. Olaf against Chicken Chasers and Pupper Dogs against the Fighting Saints. So stick around for Thursday, and I will hope to see you then. Don, any final words for the viewers?
Just got to say, make sure to tune in on Thursday because I cannot wait to see which team is going to show as the true undefeated team for the split.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.